Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here today with a full contour and highlight video. So it's going to be super thorough. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing my foundation as normal. I just prepped my skin with a little bit of the Smashbox primer water, and now I'm going in with the Faced Hangover Primer RX. So just as normal, when you're about to do your foundation, make sure your skin is properly moisturized. I am priming with, what is that? Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer. And I'm also following up with a little bit of illuminating primer on the outsides of my face where I get a little dry. So I just want to make sure my skin is nice and ready for foundation. So for foundation today, I'm going to be using my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. It's my go-to foundation for anything pretty much. I wear it on a daily basis just because I love it so much and I love the coverage it provides. So I'm going to go ahead and shake that up, and then I'm just dabbing it on with my fingers. You can use this foundation with a brush, but I prefer it better with a beauty blender. I find that the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation is pretty sticky and it dries pretty fast. So if you're using a brush, I don't think it sits as nicely on the skin as when you use a beauty blender. When you use a beauty blender, there are no lines at all, and it's not streaky and it's just flawless. So I highly recommend the beauty blender. I'm going to be covering my blemishes with MAC Prolongwear Concealer in NC20. I'm using NC20 because it's the most comparable shade to my skin tone. So when you are using concealer, remember that it's used for two different purposes, one to highlight and one to conceal. So for concealing, you want something that matches your skin tone that's going to hide the blemish. Make sure you get it as close to your skin tone as possible, because if you use a lighter or darker shade, it'll be super noticeable. So I use MAC Prolongwear Concealer because I do have a lot of blemishes, and instead of just like one or two, I'll actually have like a lot of discoloration all in one area with like 3 or 4 little guys there. So MAC Prolongwear works the best for me. So I pretty much go ham on it on my entire face. But that's just my personal preference because I do want that full coverage, flawless look. So now to highlight, I'm going in with MAC Prolongwear Concealer again, and this time I'm using NW15. So the W in the NW just provides more of a pink base, and since I am more yellow tone, that pink base will really help brighten your skin. So I'm not going in with exactly the same tone concealer as my skin, but like I said, you can use the contrasting tones to actually provide a brightening effect. So most people is yellow, but for this instance, pink tones look really good on me and they actually brighten me up more than any yellow tones. So I'm just taking that and I dabbed it underneath my eyes in a triangular motion with my finger, and then on the bridge of my nose and up a little bit on my forehead. Usually people would highlight their chin and around their mouths too, but since I have acne down there, I don't want to draw any more attention to it. So I'm also taking my MAC Prep and Prime highlighter pen in Light Boost, and I'm just running that over my Prolongwear concealer just because I like the creaminess of that product. Basically, you need a beauty blender in your life. It makes everything so much easier. As you can already see, I did my whole foundation, I concealed, and now I'm highlighting with the beauty blender. So I'm just taking that and dabbing it and pressing that concealer into my skin. And with any remainder concealer, I'm just gonna drag it out to my ears. So you'll have that whole space on your cheekbones, from your cheekbones back to your ears. That whole area will be highlighted. I don't put concealer on there because I don't need it, and the Beauty Blender transfers enough product back there. But that's just what I do to make it all blend in. I also go over my eyelids like you can see here, just for the discoloration, and it will also help prime your shadows. So now I'm taking the Kat Von D Shade Light palette, and I'm mixing the cream shade and the yellow shade on this highlighting brush by Sigma. I'll list it below. But I'm just patting that on top of my skin. And I highly recommend the Shade Light palette because the powder is so creamy. And when it goes onto your skin, it actually just lays on top of the makeup so nicely. It doesn't fill in those pores or anything like that. The powder actually lays on top, so the pores look less visible. It's really creamy. The texture is awesome, and they're very pigmented. I will say that the pan size is not that big at all because I've already hit pan on both those colors. So if you're debating about what contour set to go with, I don't have the Anastasia one, but I've heard from a lot of people that they prefer the Kat Von D more. So now I'm setting the rest of my face with some powder. It's completely optional. Usually people only powder their T-zone or the areas that they get oily in, but sometimes I like to powder my whole face, but you really don't need to. Okay, so back to the Kat Von D palette. I'm taking a round MAC brush. I believe it's a 108 or 109. I always get it confused. I'll do the research and list it down below. But I'm taking that in the warm bronzer shade of that palette, and I'm just finding my cheekbones. So I'm making the duck face, and I'm finding my cheekbones, and I'm going right above the line of your cheekbones. So the product will actually be on your cheekbones. So I'm just warming up that area of my face right now. We're not so much focusing on creating the harsh shadow yet. We're just bronzing up the whole area, so then when we do that shadow, it'll look natural. So I'm just buffing and buffing and buffing. You're gonna wanna do this until there's no lines whatsoever. And so you can see I'm just going in a circular motion. I take it back towards my ears, and then I bring it more towards the apple of my cheeks. As you can see right here, you can see, well, you could have seen if I was faster, but contouring makes such a difference. Even just bronzing your skin makes a difference so much. So I'm taking it on my neck, and I'm tracing out the bottom of my neck, and I'm staying right on my jawline. Just imagine you have a tool that like shaves away any double chin or any extra skin, and you're just gonna basically press it down your neck and drag it down. You can see coming up here what a difference that shadow underneath your chin makes. Look, it looks like I have a great strong jawline, and I totally don't, so it's fantastic. There you go. Yeah, homegirl lost like 20 pounds. Okay, so I'm bringing this same bronzer shade up on my forehead and connecting it with my cheeks and on my chin. So professionals say you kind of want to make a 3 shape, starting from your hairline, going to your chin, and going underneath. Oh, going on your cheek and underneath your chin. My bad, you guys. Now I'm taking the Ashy Contour shade, and as you can see, I just put a little bit on the side of that brush. I'm going to take that little bit and then go directly on that line. Be very careful and just use the edge of your brush. As you can see here, I'm just going back and forth really careful and putting it exactly where I want it. I'm not bringing it too far in towards the mouth. I'm keeping it on the outer third pretty much and just defining it. And you can see that it provides so much dimension already. It looks like my cheekbone is coming out. See? It's awesome. So great. And then to clean it up even more, this is going to create a more dramatic effect. You don't have to do this, but it helps to just clean it up and make it look sharp. I'm taking the same Prep and Prime pen from MAC, and I'm just going to put it underneath the contour and blend it out with a beauty blender. So it's gonna look hella sharp, like, girl, what are you doing sharp? Don't worry, we're gonna blend it out and it'll look fine. Okay, so I'm gonna dab a little bit of blush onto my cheeks. I'm keeping it strictly where the area is that we bronze. I'm taking it back towards my hairline and then bringing it maybe just a little bit on the apples of my cheeks. I already have a round face, so I don't focus the product there that much. I just keep it back above the contour line. So then I take that same blending brush and I'll blend that out too. Okay, now onto my favorite part, and that's highlighting. So today I'm using an E40 blending brush from Sigma to just pick up a little bit of highlight and putting it directly on the tops of my cheek. To highlight today, I'm using Moonlight by Coverfx, which is like my favorite highlight of life right now. And I'm keeping it strictly on the tops of my cheekbones. If you use a smaller brush, it's so much easier to control and the makeup is less likely to look gritty or overdone. So I would definitely use a smaller brush if you're not sure like what level you like your highlight, or if you're just getting used to it. Okay, so I'm also going to highlight my nose. I'm bringing a little bit of light down the center on the bridge and just a little bit on the tip, and that will automatically make your nose appear slimmer. Okay, so that's my contour and highlight video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!